All right, Michelle, before we dive into today's conversation, I wanted to just tell you how incredibly grateful I am for you. In 2020, I joined your transformation program, and I remember having this desire to feel alive, energized, strong in my mind, my body. Um, and I felt out of control when it came to food, when it came to nutrition. Like I was so lost. I felt disempowered. And I just never thought I was capable of becoming the type of person that went to the gym, lifted heavy. My body would always shut down. And I knew I had a huge mountain to climb, but I was determined to change that pattern. And when I came across you, actually, it was like through word of mouth, and everyone led me, back to you, or I was led to you. And I was so attracted to your message of redefining aging, redefining, what it looks like and feels like to be a woman. I wanted to be surrounded by that energy because, as you know, culturally, uh, too many women just accept what is and kind of give up, whether it's the way they look, whether it's the way they feel. My doctor said this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, that's shit. That's bullshit. I am not going to live that life. And so, Michelle, you are one of those pivotal role models that have changed my life. And I know myself, the amount of energy and effort it takes to show up and lead that way. And I just wanted to say thank you for not giving up.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Heather. I really appreciate that. I was saying to my husband, actually, into my team of coaches, it never gets old getting these messages from clients. And I wish I had the habit, or I should start the habit, not wish I had it, but I should start the habit of screenshotting it and putting it on like a vision board, because it really underlines the why. And sometimes it gets hard, as you know, you coach people and we have challenges, whether it's in coaching or in the business or other things going on, like my renovation that was supposed to be just this little wee couple months thing that has turned into a 2-year renovation in Mexico. And it's really the why, why do I do what I do? And every day I get up and I'm lit with a flame that this is incredibly purposeful, and that my mission will remain to change as many lives as I can, to change as many women's lives as I can. Especially, when I started this, I was 42, and now I'm almost 54, November 30. Yeah. And which is crazy to me how time has flown. But as I've gotten older, my clientele has gotten older, and I think, if anything, the space of taking care of your body has not improved from even 20 years ago. We are inundated with misinformation. And what's particularly dangerous, and I'm choosing the word dangerous purposefully, is that we have a lot of what we call medical entrepreneurs in this space. So we have people that are graduated from Harvard, or we have people that are gynecologists on social media telling people stuff that is not supported by top level evidence. And I'd say top level evidence because they are giving you evidence based on this evidence, but it's very low level. It's a lot of times observational studies. It's not the highest level. It doesn't discount meta-analyses, which is at the top of the pyramid of scientific hierarchy. And so women are more confused. And you'll see that. You'll go on to expert site and you'll see all the comments. I'm more confused. Should I be taking hormones? Should I not be taking hormones? Should I be fasting? Should I be doing paleo? Should I be doing keto? And and then you see all the other people saying, well, follow this doctor. And it's just, in this last year, I have just seen an explosion in our intakes and also in existing clients on all kinds of weird and wacky protocols. And so even more than ever, and you're a survivor of cancer, right? You were telling me that you were put into medically induced early menopause through your whole cancer journey. Sometimes when I hear people saying, oh, you don't have to worry about cancer, and I just think, do you? I have a few several clients who have gone through cancer. One gal that just had a brain tumor removed last year. We've got breast cancers, endometrial cancers. And I just think, have you been through cancer? How could you just discount that? My call to action is let's look at the major levers that we can pull where the side effects are fitting into your college clothes. Like, let's pull those major levers first. Everybody can pull those levers. And what are the levers? Nutrition, learn how to train properly, not just go to the gym and pick up weights, but be purposeful with how you are training if you want to build muscle. And I love Dr. Lyon's call to action, which muscle is the organ of longevity. I love that. Yes, let's build muscle. Let's go to the gym. Let's eat to build muscle. Let's follow a protein-centric diet. Let's manage our emotions. Let's pull these major levers, and the side effects will have such massive positive ripple effects for all the other things: mental health, cognitive, maintaining your cognitive health as you get older, your bone health, avoiding osteopenia, osteoporosis, all of these other things, right? And looking good.
Yeah, and looking good. And oftentimes looking good is the first thing people want, and then they don't even pay attention to the other things until it's, too late, and then they're like, I have to reverse engineer reverse decades and decades of essential abuse that I have done to my physical body or confusion. And I asked you before we hit record, what are you incredibly passionate about? And every time I hear you speak, every time I see, you are so passionate. You are in this, obviously your mother is a huge part of your story as well. And she's a huge inspiration, and people may or may not know who she is. So you're welcome to talk about her. But I wrote down, what do you want to take a stand for? And you said falling in love with your body. And there's so much of that. But when you were talking about these studies, because I am not a scientific minded individual, but I keep myself close to people I trust, like you, who are all about the data and the science and all the things. And some of it, to be radically honest with you, when people know my health history, they say, oh, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this? And the way that they talk to me, I'm like, you are overwhelming me with what you're stating or how I need to live my life right now. And I'm like, this is about the core basics. And I am more focused on the habits and behaviors than buying into schemes and protocols and supplements and doing all the things. I'm like, food has been around forever. Why don't I master that? Nutrition, using that to heal my body, hydration, movement, all the things. And I see so many people being like, oh, this says I'll lose weight. This says I'll lose weight. And I'm like, you are avoiding the core foundation of what this is. So I don't know if you want to use your mother as an example, tell people about her. I mean, she's all over the internet. I'm always sending you things. I'm sure people are all the time. You're like, this is a scheme. This is a scheme. They took her. She's a poster child, but
she's a poster child for smoothies and keto and vegan and all of this stuff. And she, and I try to get in there and say, hey, she doesn't do any of that stuff. Every time you'll see me post something about, follow a protein-centric diet, Mediterranean diet, eat the colors of the rainbow, fiber, eat 5 meals a day, 4 to 5 meals a day. Space out your protein doses, every 3 hours. It's because mom's been on she's been on some keto or some IF site. And it's really hard to people say oh, why don't you just get them to take that down? It is so hard. There's a Train with Joan TikTok. There is a Train with Joan TikTok that uses our Instagram photos and videos. And we have Train with Joan registered. And we're unable. They want us to catalog 800 photos. It is so, and of course, got to pay the lawyer. It is so hard to actually own that right. So, and I'm saying that because, gals, buyer beware. If guys are listening to this channel, everyone beware. The internet is full of grifting, and grifting being people are selling you stuff, and which is fine if people are selling you high quality stuff that actually answer a need. But unfortunately, and nothing has really changed over the centuries, a lot of people are in this just to make money. Whether people are intentionally doing something bad or they start believing their own advertising and just go down that rabbit hole, you just have to be aware of that. It's actually very, very hard to own the rights for photos and videos on the internet. It's like playing whack-a-mole. Mom's been in newspapers and magazines and all of that. And so what I tell people is, just if you can, and this is whether you're looking at hiring a coach or hiring an architect, talk to a few people that have worked with that person that are giving you raving reviews and that would kind of overlap with what you're looking for, right? That's probably going to be one of the best ways to make sure you're getting good information, because we all want to have the outcome, but it can seem very confusing in this space of health and wellness, fitness, aging well, longevity. It can seem very confusing what to follow, what advice, what protocols to follow. And some are dangerous. Some of these protocols that you're seeing on the internet are dangerous for a lot of people.
Yeah. So this conversation is, what I'm hearing is use critical thinking skills, like utilize your ability to say, is that in alignment? How does that feel to me? And where am I kind of leaking my power? Am I giving my power to these strangers on the internet versus what do I need? What do I want? So I'm all about space. I'm all about sitting with myself. I'm all about how does this feel to me? And I truly actually don't believe that. I believe that living your best life, air quotes, best life, whether it's in your physical body, your health, is easy. It's just emotionally uncomfortable. I actually don't believe in hard things. I believe the action is easy. It's just emotionally uncomfortable. So that said, Michelle, is it difficult to change your body composition? Is it difficult to live a healthy? Is it difficult? What'd you say?
I said, I guess I've got to say it's easy.
You could say it's easy. You could be you. I'm not here to manipulate your language. But okay, my point is, what are some foundational habits that the woman that's listening to this, that's like, I've been to every doctor, I've been to doing all the things, I just want to feel good in my body. I want to fall in love with my body again. What type of daily habits does she need to embody in order to just be set on the correct path?
I think the first thing that I would want to offer is routine. Routine is essential. We are in mammalian bodies, right? So just like your dog or your cat or your horse is a mammal, we are also mammals, and we respond really well to routine. So obviously, if you had a prized thoroughbred horse, you would have it on a very, very strict diet, and it would be dosed out at certain times of the day. And they would have to have water, they would have to have exercise. Probably if this is also a champion thoroughbred, you would be checking their times, their lap times, like, are they on point? Are they falling behind? You're looking at their sleep, their HRV, like all of these things. So follow a routine. That's the easy answer, is you need to follow a routine which gives you measurably beneficial results. It's taking you in the direction you want to go. So that's like the simple answer, because packed into that would be, well, you're having some kind of a routine for getting nutrition in, and you are, the word control has such a bad rap, but it's really like you have ownership. You've decided, I'm going to eat this much food, this much protein, this much fiber. So you have a nutritional plan that you're following, and it's a very, very routine. You're not winging it. right? So we're stepping away from this idea of just winging it. Like we don't, like, did you feed the dog? Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll feed it tomorrow. Like you feed the dog. I feed my dog 3 times a day, like exactly, this amount. And it's, it's very standardized. We make sure there's water in the bowl and we get the water into the dog. We make sure the dog sleeps. So making sure that you're following a routine that is measurable and that you're looking at how the results are progressing. So that would be the easy, obvious answer. It can be as uncomplicated as that, but that is also where people leak energy because they don't really follow a true routine. They have that attachment to this story that stuff is getting in the way and that it's too hard and they can't do it. How hard is it really to make sure that you're eating, for me, I eat I think it's 140 grams of protein a day. It's very, very easy. I honestly, at this stage of the game, I don't even have to measure it. I know that it's like, oh, I'm having my little breakfast sandwich and there's enough chicken on it to cover the top of the English muffin. And it's really, really easy to do. And I might be out 5 grams. It might be 65 grams of chicken one day, 70 grams of chicken another day, but it's not enough to affect my progress. And I check my progress. Right. And so if I wasn't progressing towards my goals, then I could go back and get grainier with some piece of my routine that I'm a little bit more casual with. It's such an easy system. It's just like keeping your finances in check.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I love that you're like, easy energy leaks. You're like, okay, I'm going to use Heather's language, but okay. So here's the routine. The routine part, people are like, that's uncomfortable. So I'm going to bypass the routine and I'm going to go to the next level. It's like building a house on sand, right? The foundation isn't there. This is literally from the day you were born to the day you die. You need these routines. This is not a privilege. It's not complimentary. It's not an add-on to your life. It is core foundation. So then people skip the routine. They skip the nutrition. They skip movement. They go to the next step. What do people do to bypass? Then they start saying, I feel like shit. So then they go to the doctors. They're not getting the answers from the doctors. What you resist will persist and it's going to grow bigger. So Michelle, 2020, I met you. I was like, I'm still leaning into these routines. I still have resistance around it, but I know because I'm the type of person that takes ownership that if I want to see results, and it could be a feeling, it could be a physical result, it could be thinking about my future, I know I need to invest in it now and today. So what do you see as the biggest challenges for your clients and also the biggest breakthroughs? Like the people that do very successful with you or like come in and their health is we're not going to call it a shit show, but they're like, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've gone here. What do you see as the actual transformation that people need to go through or the identity shift that they need to go through to feel alive and energized and fall back in love with their bodies?
I think in terms of what kind of person do I see really flourishing with our program? And I like to tell people, like, we are the PhD of transformation, and we're not fat loss specialists. We specialize in body composition changes. And I'm very specific about that, i.e., we prioritize in gaining muscle and maintaining it, as well as losing fat. And we don't just look at the scale, we look at metrics, we look at photos, we look at strength progression and all of that. So in terms of what kind of person is going to flourish in that, it is going to be somebody, number one, who has opened a space in their mind that they can, even if it still feels like, no way, it's not going to happen to me. And we have a lot of girls chuckle when I give them my intro speech where I'm like, listen, you're not that special snowflake that for whom the science doesn't work. And I get gals throwing me back that quote. They're like, whenever I feel like I'm doubting myself or it's not going to work for me or I want to slide out, I just tell myself I'm not that special snowflake. Great, right? So the gal who has opened that door in their mind that they can have the same massive outcomes as Trish or Jody or Kelly or Joan, my mom, right? Trained with Joan, 70 years old, lost 70 pounds in her 70s, whatever, how many decades post-menopausal. She also was put into early menopause surgically with no hormones given to her, because that was, back in the heyday when even before all this was very much on the table. So anything is possible, because if somebody's hormones were shot, it would be Joan's, right? So open that door in your mind that you can achieve these massive results and that you want it for yourself. So that's the first thing. And a lot of gals are stuck there. If you don't really feel that your body and that your mind can be in sync together and be in this high vibrational state of energy and have this deep relationship with yourself. Like, I know when my body's not doing well. I can't accidentally gain or lose a pound. Like, I get up and I know, like, oh, I'm feeling light today. Let's step on the scale. Okay. Why is that happening? Did I not get my water in? Did I skip a meal? Is my stress too high? Like, I'm just so in touch with my body. So really cultivating that beautiful relationship with yourself, and also being, and this is going to be an interesting conversation for us, because I'm always telling my clients, let's step away from emotion. Let's step away from emotion and let's embrace being data driven. Like, be scientific about your body, meaning study the body, observe the body, take notes on the body, and be a data-driven girl. So versus I'm feeling this way, well, let's look at the facts. Let's look at the metrics. Let's look at your performance. Let's look at, if you're using some tech, right? Let's look at your HRV. Let's look at your morning heart rate. Let's look at this. Let's look at the data. So I also think if you really want to free yourself from, because we're so conditioned as women to doubt our bodies and then to sabotage our bodies and sabotage our relationship with our bodies, and really see the body as the enemy, and it's something that needs to be medicated and strapped up and tied down, versus this amazing. I love some of these younger gals coming out. I don't know if you watch the Olympics, the Paris Olympics, but one of my favorite gals is this rugby star from the States. I'm going to say her name wrong. Ilona Mahar, I think. She's just magnificent, and she's just so loving living in her body. She's a big girl. I think she's 5'10", or she's on the taller side of things. Tons of muscle, very powerful gal. And can the gals that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s that were really indoctrinated into lose 7 pounds in 7 days and bake this beautiful chocolate cake for your family, like that really confusing space, can we switch gears midlife and beyond and fall in love with our bodies and truly feel that our bodies are capable of greatness? So that's the really important shift that has to happen. And that is definitely, when I see gals that are doing really well, they really embrace that. And they get onto social media right away and they proselytize to other gals like, this is possible. I'm just a regular, normal person. I was like you 2 months ago, 5 months ago, 7 months ago, and look at me now. And now I'm not stopping.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go back to that. Feelings, emotions. What I really leaned into and learned from you, yes, data driven, chop wood, carry water. The strategy is the same, right? Chop wood, carry water, black and white, no emotion. Chop wood, carry water every day. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. First of all, there is so mundane and boringness in that if you are the type of person that loves to catastrophize things and be like, this is boring, so I'm going to mess it up. Like, just breaking that pattern within myself of rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So if I wanted to be exciting in other areas of my life, I wasn't doing that through food. I wasn't doing that through, it was like, this is like, pay your taxes, like check the boxes, like do your due diligence to respect your body. The emotional side of it is understand your emotional ecosystem, right? Is this story that you're telling yourself manipulative right now, that you can't lean into something or do it? Or is it your brain trying to stop you? And so when I had a non-negotiable with myself of like, these are my daily habits, I show up to the gym and I'm like, oh, I can't do this today because I'm on day 26 of my cycle and I'm not supposed to lift heavy weights according to cycle syncers online or blah, 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 or my hormones, or my doctor told me this. I have to lean in and go, show up and put in the reps anyways. Maybe you can't have a PR or maybe, but like just try, lean into the mental resistance. But you create this intimacy with your body of like, is this my story? Where am I leaking my power to somebody else? Am I giving my power away to my fear? Am I giving my power away to my resistance? So like, it's like a yes and. We can't become emotionally numb. So it's like seeing your emotions as data, but not letting the big emotions control or lead your outcome, right? So you're like, here's your strategy, here's this, go do the thing. And then day one, it's always interesting too how these things happen where all of a sudden big things in your life start to happen, right? Like, oh, somebody needs you. There's a health crisis with somebody else, and that rescuer tendency to come out. Can you still respect your body enough to hold down the fort in your chop wood, carry water routines while you're still being of service to everybody else? Like when I hear you speak and you're like, yeah, I don't need to like weigh now. I can go to restaurants. I can do the thing. Like your identity, like you could do this in your sleep, right? Like you could probably look at everybody else's plate and tell you exactly how much like you've mastered it. You've put in your 10,000 hours because you've done the reps. People have done one rep, one gym session, and they're expecting miracles. So that was my biggest takeaway from you is like, I really need to lean into this chop wood, carry water phenomenon and just rinse and repeat. And that's translated in other areas of my life. But I would say the intimacy, not only with my body, but also my emotions. I need to know when I need to have boundaries with my emotions. They will guide me, but they can also sabotage my success.
Yeah, I think the dance or the nuances of living by your emotions, because I think emotions are important, but you have to, as long as you, and the you is this like hierarching you that's looking down at your emotions, at your thoughts, at your triggers, that part of you has to be guided and has to be very intentional about what emotions you're going to give into. And that means introspection, right? Like whether you have a meditation habit or a journaling habit, or you just practice. I just continually practice neurointrospection. I continually have conversations with myself. How am I feeling? How is my day looking? How does my heart rate feel? How am I feeling physically in my body? Do I need to go out for a walk, right? Whether I feel like it or not, do I need to do that right now? Is it time to do that to my body? So I think in the beginning for a lot of gals, especially ones that have more resistance and that tend to sabotage, that tend to be in that reactive state to their emotions versus being able to park their emotions, that chop wood, carry water approach of do the small things really well first and then let the emotions follow. So let your actions drive your emotions and be very purposeful and intentional with your actions. If you're working with a coach, like someone from our team, the Wonder Woman Official, then you are going to be given an approach to follow. And then you can ask questions and give feedback, but you're following a plan, and then the emotions will come. You'll within the first week, just eating more protein, eating vegetables, prioritizing sleep, training in the gym, you're going to feel better. We have gals lose a couple of inches in the first 14 days because of the drop in inflammation, just getting that mammalian body onto a really optimized routine drops a lot of inflammation right on the bat, and it's very simple stuff. But then, Heather, it's really important to me that people start actively threading joy into their process and really personalizing it. So when you were saying like, you know, like just do the thing and, uh, you know, if you have that instinct to be attracted to chaos or drama or bright lights or colors or whatever, you've got to kind of park that and just focus on chopping, you know, head down, chop wood, carry water. I'm a little bit yes or no, like yes in the beginning, especially if you are more triggered, right? Just do the thing. Just focus on, keep it simple, just do the thing, and then eventually thread the joy in. But I don't like to leave that too long. I really like to get in there and say, you've got to have more joy than this. So if I look at your meal plan and I see, and if Michelle's listening to this, one of my clients, she'll be like, "Oh, she's talking about me." I would always look at her meal plan, and it would be basically like 3 meals a day of chicken and carrots. And she said, "Well, I'm so busy," and she's a she has 600 people under her. She has 16 direct reports. Like she is very busy. Family she takes care of, young kids, older family, all of that. But I'm like, Michelle, where's the love here? Like, tell me that you would send your son off to school every day with just 3 meals of chicken and carrot, and he is going to thrive. He's going to be trading his lunch and getting the chocolate chip cookies, like guaranteed. Show the love to yourself. When you go to the gym, I'll see a lot of gals, and this might seem like, you know, vanity points, but it's not. It's how you're feeling. Do most moms take time to get their kids all kitted up for school with the new little, you know, back to school thingy and the clothes and all that? Yes. But then I see them at the gym in these like saggy baggies. And I'm like, you have to look in that gym and have reflected back to you, I'm a woman on a mission, right? Like get yourself the clothes. I love that there's so many amazing body positivity models out there now. We've got great gym clothes in all shapes and sizes, in great colors, cut to fit and to flatter. Get those things. We have gym gear now for women. Get those things, right? Take up your space, have pride in yourself. Don't wait for this perfect end where you're going to suddenly start loving yourself. Love yourself now and put that energy and vibrancy into that. Make beautiful food, get your Tupperware, get your little Ninja Creamies, your little Ninja air fryers or whatever, you know, product line you like to use to make the cool foods that you see the other gals doing. You deserve that. So there is some emotion there, but we're choosing the emotion. We've got the routine. We're keeping the head down, ticking off the boxes, but we're infusing the joy and the self-love as early as we can. That's where the excitement comes, but you're being purposeful with it.
Yeah. And that goes back to what I talked about with you on your podcast. And I talk a lot here is how do you want to feel? Right. So when it's too overwhelming, start with the basics. And then how do you want to feel with it? I want to feel nourished. I want it to be exciting. I want it, you know, how do you want to feel in your body? How do you want to look when you, or how do you want to feel when you look in the mirror? And I'm always just pushing that edge of, okay, go buy the shirt, go do the thing, not because it's retail therapy and you're just like mindlessly eating, mindlessly buying. You're doing it with intention. It makes you feel a certain way. And sometimes for people, that's easy, that's comfortable. Some people, it's really uncomfortable. And every time you're kind of buying back, I value myself, I respect myself. Michelle, I could talk to you forever and ever. You give so much value online. Where can people find you? What resources do you have? And where should they lean in if they want more of you in your world?
Yeah. Sure, thanks. They can find me on my website, MichelleMcDonaldOfficial.com, on Instagram, same name. And I have a book out called Empowered Strength. It really walks you through the basics of getting started, what nutrition looks like for the 40 plus female, training as well. And you can follow my mom, Train with Joan. She has 2 million followers, which is just absolutely amazing, but really great information there and very, very inspirational. And then my coaching team, the Wonder Woman official as well on Instagram. And the website is thewonderwoman.com. And then lastly, my podcast, Stronger by Design. And I have a fitness app coming out with meal plans by the same name, Stronger by Design. And that's going to be launched, we're looking at December.
Awesome. Michelle, I'm so incredibly grateful for you and for your pursuit to constantly show up and challenge yourself and create the conversation, but also the ecosystem, the environment for women to step in who want to redefine aging, redefine womanhood, redefine how they feel in their bodies. So thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.